Hello, my name is Ryan Hartung, and today I will be discussing the influence that the devil has over the main characters in Dante's Inferno and Goethe's Faust. Dante Alighieri lived during the 13th to early 14th centuries. His epic poem, Inferno, follows a man named Dante as he traverses through the 9 layers of hell led by the poet Virgil. They witness firsthand the cruel punishments that the sinners must endure for eternity. When he finally enters the 9th layer, the deepest of them all, he finds the greatest evil known to man, Satan. In the 34th canto, he describes Satan as being fixed in the ice and a grotesque parody of the Trinity. The Trinity here is a biblical reference. It comes from the notion of the three, the Son, the Father, and the Holy Spirit. Satan is described as having 3 heads, bat wings, and chewing a person in each mouth. Satan was originally the greatest and proudest angel in heaven. His pride and jealousy, however, caused him to try and usurp God's throne. He failed and was banished from heaven straight to the center of the earth. His fall created a hole that could be used as an escape route from hell. In Inferno, Satan acts as more of a showpiece and a figurehead than an actual character with emotions or goals. This depiction is completely opposite to the devil, Mephistopheles, as portrayed in Goethe's Faust. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe lived in the late 18th to early 19th centuries, roughly 500 years after the death of Dante. His play, Faust, tells a story of a scholar named Faust whose dissatisfaction with life leads him to make a pact with the devil in exchange for his soul. Mephistopheles is a devil with similar thoughts and desires of any human. The first time that the audience learns of his existence is when he is making a deal with God. He will tempt the faith of one of God's followers to prove that all humans are capable of sin. His cunning and sadistic personality, alongside his supernatural ability to transform, drive him to make a pact with Faust. Throughout the story, his transformations allow him to blend into the mortal world and intervene freely. He constantly monitors and interacts with Faust to ensure his victory against God. Unfortunately for him, his similarities with humans are what lead to his downfall. Mephistopheles can be seen as a character with more human than the actual humans in the play. While the two demons are not very similar in appearance or motivation, their role and their impact on their respective characters is quite similar. Satan's body and punishment in Inferno warns Dante of the dangers of sinning and how brutally God punishes those who fall from his grace. His presence also acts as the key turning point in the story. When Dante first laid his eyes upon Satan, he was baffled and distraught. All the emotions that were building up during the poem were released at that very moment. Only after he calmed down and understood what was happening was he able to escape from hell. Similarly, in Faust, Mephistopheles' interventions affect the characters. He warns Faust of the dangers of making a pact with him. He is the devil, and Faust's soul will be taken to the underworld once their agreement has been fulfilled. He fulfills all of Faust's desires, which gives Faust the life that he had always dreamed of. The climax of Faust occurs when Mephistopheles gets tricked by the angels. He loses possession over Faust's soul and lets him escape to heaven, never fulfilling his end of the bargain. Ironically, the two most supremely evil entities lead to the most amount of good in both stories. They are able to sway their main characters away from the maleficence around them and send them to a brighter future. Without these two characters, Dante would be stuck in hell, and Faust would have lived an unfulfilling life without ever doing any good. While the two beings may represent the same evil incarnate, they could not be more different. In Faust, Mephistopheles is a transient being that can freely move and interact with the mortal realm. Satan is trapped in hell, unable to move. They interact with the characters in completely different ways. Satan never communicates with Dante. It is Virgil, the demons, and the punished souls who inform Dante of what has happened. Mephistopheles brings sinners' souls to the underworld so they can serve their punishment, whereas Satan is a soul that is facing punishment. Dante directly observes what happens to Satan. He realizes that if he were to commit the same atrocities that Satan has committed, then he will be punished similarly. Faust never interacts with Mephistopheles in a similar manner. Furthermore, the reasons for their interactions differ. Mephistopheles wants to manipulate Faust by granting all of his carnal desires, whereas Satan has no care for Dante. You may be asking yourself, why are these super old stories even still relevant to today's society? Well, the answer lies in the morals of both stories and how even the supernatural characters are personified with emotions that everyday people have. Both stories can clearly be interpreted as sin is bad, so don't do it. However, a deeper, more powerful moral lays hidden. The moral is no one is perfect. For example, Mephistopheles is driven by his own desires and wants. His whole story takes place because of his bet with God. Satan was the most supreme angel until he succumbed to his lust for power. The key takeaway from these stories is that humans will always be human. No matter how powerful someone is or how well off they are, everyone goes through the same hardships and faces the same temptations. So, as long as humans stay human, Faust and Dante's stories will continue to be recounted, recreated, and remixed for the eons to come. And here's my works cited.